Oh hi. Christchurch, the city on the southern island of New Zealand. Administrative centre of the region of Canterbury. The name is translated from English as Christchurch. The name of the city in language of Maori those Whenua about those Potikitaraki. However is much more distributed the reduced name Ototaki. According to archaeologists, the Moa hunters who arrived here in search of gradually disappearing production in the 13th century became the first people in this area. These pervapostulates whose name history didn't keep were destroyed in the 16th century Maori to a willow of Avetak, migrating from the northern island. During further intertribal wars of Avetak those were destroyed to a willow and Gotimemi, and in turn, to a Gaitak which owned the territory at the time of arrival of the first white settlers in 1840. The settlement founded by whalers from Sydney in 1840 had seasonal nature and was used for rest of teams of whaling vessels. In 1848 in London the Canterbury Association under the chairmanship of the Archbishop Canterbury John Sumner which purpose was foundation of Anglican colony on the southern island of New Zealand was founded. On March 27 the same year the name of future settlement, Christchurch, was chosen. This day is also considered official date of foundation of the city though in reality the first of 4 ships with colonists dropped an anchor in the city bay only on December 16, 1850. In total the ships brought from England 792 immigrants. This settlement quickly developed, on July 31, 1856 to the first in New Zealand. Was officially given the status of the city, and in 1863 and in the country's first railroad with passenger traffic of Ferrymead Railway which work still was open. In the afternoon on February 22, 2011 in the city there was a strong earthquake. The number of the dead reached 185 people. This earthquake became the strongest since 1931. For restoration of the city by the New Zealand government it was planned to allocate $14 billion. On March 15, 2019 in the Mosque of Al-Noor and the Islamic Center Linwood there was a Massachusetts firing. The terrorist entered 2 mosques located in the neighborhood right after a Friday prayer and opened fire. This first massacre in New Zealand after slaughter in Roraima 1997. The authorities of the country called this incident terrorist attack. 51 persons died. On a charge of attack 4 persons of far-right views were arrested. 3 men, one of whom was identified as the 28-year-old citizen of Australia Brenton Tarrant, and 1 woman. Shooting a broadcast massacre. The city is located in the center of east coast of the southern island, on the Canterbury Plain, at the place of confluence of the rivers Avon and Heathcote to the Gulf Pegasus. From the south Christchurch is limited to a ridge of volcanic origin Port Hills, from the north the Waimakariri River. Christchurch is included into one of 8 couples of the city's antipodes in the world. His antipode is the Galician city of A Coruña. The city is one of the first in qualities of tap water which is delivered on a long conduit directly from environmentally friendly slopes of the Southern Alps here. In Christchurch and the areas adjoining to it a temperate sea climate with air temperatures during the summer period. December, February. From +15 C to +25 C in air temperatures during the winter period. June, August. from +5°C to +15°C. At night in the winter, air temperature can fall below 0°C. Due to the features of location of the city during the winter period in the city, the general background of air pollution, which though isn't comparable with similar problems of the large industrial cities of other countries, considerably increases, but nevertheless is much higher than in other cities of New Zealand. According to the New Zealand Management of Statistics, the population of Christchurch in 2013 made 341,000 people, agglomerations minus 379,000. That is it by the largest city of the Southern Island and the second after Auckland in the country. At the same time, agglomeration of Christchurch is the third after Auckland and Wellington. Racial and ethnic structure of the population: white minus 75.4%. In 2001, 89.8%. Asians minus 7.9%. Maori minus 7.6%. Polynesians minus 2.8%. Including about and a half Samoans. 86% of citizens specified by the native language English. Primary branches of city economy and the region are agriculture, the food industry and tourism. In recent years in the city, the enterprises of the high-tech and knowledge-intensive industries, including biotechnologies and development of the software, began to develop actively. Existence in the city of 3 universities: University of Canterbury, the University of Lincoln, Medical School of the University of Otago. Serves as one of the reasons for that. In the city, the headquarters such large to the New Zealand measures. The companies as Pashreitson, Agriculture, Biotechnologies, Tate Electronics, and Jade Software is placed. In the first half of the 20th century, Christchurch was one of 2 main industrial centres of New Zealand, along with Auckland. In the city, the set of the enterprises of textile, shoe and metallurgical industry worked, but by the end of the 1990th, practically all of them were transferred to China and the Southeast Asian countries. Transport: Christchurch is served by the international airport, with a passenger turnover of 56 million people a year. 2013, the country's second after the airport of Auckland. Regular flights are carried out to all main cities of New Zealand and also to Brisbane, Perth, Sydney, Bangkok, Singapore, Nandi, Melbourne, Dubai, Gold Coast and Tokyo. The seaport located in the satellite town of Lyttelton is the second in the country, after the Auckland port, on goods turnover and the number of cruise passengers. Public transport is presented by network of bus routes, metro and 1 tram line in the downtown, used generally by tourists. On September 4, 2010, the city suffered from a destructive earthquake measuring 7.0. On February 22, 2011, there was one more earthquake measuring 6.3. The earthquake was followed by big destructions and a large number of the victims. On June 13, 2011 at 6:20, on Moscow time, an earthquake measuring 6.0. Epicenter of an earthquake was in 13 km from the city, the hypocenter at a depth of 9 km. More than 40 people suffered. Sites: in the downtown, the set of monuments of architecture is located. Cathedral of the Holy Communion, Cathedral, City Town Hall and others. Annual actions. Christchurch Writers Festival, the festival devoted to writers of New Zealand. The Award Nair Marsh, a literary award of Nair Marsh, an awards ceremony annually passes in Christchurch. Christchurch Arts Festival, the festival devoted to art. Famous natives. Been born in Christchurch. Cinema. In Christchurch, action of the movie Heavenly Creations is developed. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.